Hi, Lisa Concanon here. I'm looking in my magic box. This is where a lot of my watercolor collage elements end up going. I'll paint these on 98-pound paper, for example, and I'll cut them out and I'll store them for future use in collage. Today I'm going to show you guys how to do these moths, and I'm also going to show you in the end as a bonus how to paint some beetles. You don't have to use these for collage. You can just paint these directly into your pieces, but moths, butterflies, beetles, insects, those kinds of things add so much life and interest to a botanical piece. So I'm going to show you how to do it. These are the papers I use most often. I use 140 pound if I'm going to actually do a painting, but I use this 98-pound Canson mixed media book as my sketchbook, basically, because the lighter weight paper is much easier to collage into other pieces than, say, the thicker 140-pound watercolor paper. So if you are going to use any of your watercolors for collage, use the 98-pound. It's so much nicer to get into your work. For our supplies, all of the usual things, some pan watercolors of your choice. I'm using Art Philosophy and, of course, Viva because I'm an affiliate with them and I love them. I'm mostly going to be using my favorite brush. It's a number 12 round. I use it for just about everything. I have some smaller ones. I have an 8. I have a little liner. I've got all of my various ink pens. The gold, of course, some great colorful jelly rolls. The white jelly roll is an essential for me. I use it the most. I've recently discovered by Art Philosophy these metallics, and these are my favorite metallics ever. I got these at Hobby Lobby. I highly recommend them. They're gorgeous. A cup of water, of course, and also today we're going to be playing with some salt. I'm using a coarser ground kosher salt. You can use sea salt flakes. You can use table salt as well, but I like the thicker grounds, and you'll see why. Real quick about moths and butterflies. They're in the same family. Moths are nocturnal and butterflies are out in the daytime. So I'm basing most of my moth shapes on the giant leopard moth. I just really love that shape. The first thing we need to do is to activate our watercolors, and I do that by just misting some water on top. You can use your paintbrush as well, and just put little dots of water on your color palette just to get them ready to go. Okay, let's make our first moth. The brush is going to do so much of the work. As you can see, I've got my paint loaded on there. My brush is nice and wet, and I'm just doing this diagonal kind of slash. I'm going to come down from the top of that and go back into the center to meet that point. That's your top wing. You just come right down about midway through that top wing and do like just a little petal shape and let them meet. You've got one side done already. Now, doing the opposite side is tricky for everyone. Don't worry about it. You might have to work with it a little bit more, but it's basically the same thing. Don't worry too much about details. Just get the basic shape. All right, so you've got both of your sides done. What you're going to do now is just come down the center of the body between the wings, and I like to make them chubby because they're going to be fuzzy. I did pick up my metallic paint for the body because I just could not wait to get into these beautiful colors. I think I forgot to tell you guys about the paper towel, but always have dry paper towel when you're doing watercolor because you're going to be dabbing on it constantly. Okay, so let's do another one. See if I can do this handheld so I can get closer. So our slash diagonally. Pull on down from the top and go back to that center. Come on down from mid-wing and just do a simple little petal shape that also goes back to the center. Do your opposite side the best you can. I like to come up diagonally and just kind of go in reverse. you can see what you've done on the other side. Just try to match it as much as you can. But let's just go with the imperfections being charming. I like to say that when I know it's not going to be perfect. It's charming. I'm going to grab some orange for my body. It's all nice and wet because we want this all to run together. Interesting things happen as it dries when you do that. Are you guys wondering when the salt comes in? Let's go ahead and play with some salt. So both of these are wet. I am going to, just from above, let some salt fall. Here's the trick with salt. You are going to have to really let this dry before you remove that salt. It takes a little more patience. So while those dry for probably the rest of the day, I did some yesterday to show you. And look at the gorgeous effects that you can get from the salt. Beautiful, beautiful things are going to happen. So let those dry, and I'm going to show you how I would finish these out with ink details. I realized I probably should show you how to remove the salt. It doesn't just fly off like you would expect it to. I'm using a dry, soft brush to first kind of try to just knock off what I can. As you can see, that's not happening in every spot, so still gently just come in there with your finger, and you kind of have to pick at it a little bit. Just still kind of lightly, but sorry about that. You do have to kind of work it off. So just be patient. Not all of it comes off, but most of it will, and you'll start to see that beautiful pattern. Just like that. Pretty gorgeous, huh? Look at how that one turned out. To kind of get the fuzzy look I'm talking about, I'm just going to use my gold ink pen and lightly just start making textures, lots of dots, bristly. So pretty. Nice and fuzzy. So this one, I'm going to go ahead and do black dots. Since it's so light, I just think the gold, it might get lost, and I want to show y'all also just the different kinds of colorations you can do. You can add eyes. They're pretty cute. So with the salt, I just think it's really pretty beautiful without any additional ink details, but feel free. That is a beautiful underlayer. And kind of like if you took my watercolor Rens, you can just start adding whatever patterns you like to these. And the more you add, I just think the more beautiful they get. These Jelly Roll pens the colors are so gorgeous. You've got to go get some if you like what you see here. I got these at Michael's. They're really rich and creamy, and the colors are just, oh, look at that. So you can just do any kind of patterns you want on these. Over the salt, that's a pretty gorgeous effect. Maybe you don't want to do the salt. That's fine. I did a whole bunch without the salt yesterday, and you can just start decorating them with your ink however you like. Oh, I didn't know that was a soft one. Some of these Faber-Castell pens have like this really soft, feathery tip, which makes some really cool marks, actually. I love these. Do something more like that. Circles are always really cool. These are some glittery ink pens by Jelly Roll. And I love these too. So play around with these once they're really dry, of course, and go crazy. Okay, I'm going to show you the bonus class on how to do beetles. Tell me those aren't beautiful. Okay, so these right here are based on the jewel scarab beetle, if I'm saying that right. I'm not a beetle expert. And then the ladybird, also known as the ladybug. Okay, now for the beetles, wet your brush. I'm going to choose a nice blue. We're going to incorporate the metallics into these. So as you can see, those are the moths from earlier, and they are not even near dry. Okay, so for the scarab, just make a little slash, a little kind of, I don't know, what is that mark? I don't even know what you call that, but make a mark like that. Come down in kind of like an oval teardrop kind of shape. And just fill that in. I turn my brush to the side and just do a flat, kind of washy extension. And then with my point, there's the head. Now, the legs of beetles, don't worry about getting too detailed. They're just kind of doing their own thing out there. I just think that's kind of cute already myself. Not in real life, but in watercolor. Okay, let's add some of our metallics. Let's do this blue. Oh my God, look at that. Oh, wow. Okay, let that dry. We'll do another one. I've got some orange this time. I'm gonna do our little mark here. Turn my brush to the side so it's flat. And I'm just coming up. I'm gonna turn my brush back to a diagonal for a little round shape. That's the head. And then I'm gonna come on out with some little lines to suggest their little legs that we're gonna call cute because they're in watercolor and not in real life. I'm gonna choose some of this copper. You guys, the color selection in that metallic set is really pretty amazing. Trust me, when this all mixes together and is dry, it's gonna be gorgeous. If I had to guess, I bet the bug that everyone really loves to paint is a ladybird. And I bet you all know how to do that already. Pretty easy. Just a simple little kind of oval shape. I don't have any black out, but usually their heads look good with the black, and it's just this very simple little, there you go, there's the head. Little legs. Their legs are tiny. And then once they're dry, you add your dots. Different ladybugs have a different amount of dots. Doesn't really matter. We're not being totally correct here. We're just having fun and making pretty patterns and lively things to add to our paintings. And you can decorate your beetles however you like. I like to add lots of lines and dots and, just anything you want. Have fun with it. Just be creative and have fun. Don't censor yourself. Get lost in the process. Make whatever kind of little marks you feel like. Experiment and play. This is one of my favorite paper pieces from my Enchanted Twilight Forest collection. And I just want to show you what I've done with the beetles and the moths and even little birds. This is all watercolor collage with an acrylic painted background and more ink details on top. So you can really do a lot of things with this process. I hope you enjoyed it. I can't wait to see what you guys do. Feel free to message me anytime on Instagram with questions.